Oh, my people, I have a story to tell you. In Hawaii, where I have made my home now, we say talk story. And this drum, I'll call it my talking drum. I am heartbroken about what is going on in America. They even said they are no longer a Christian nation. All the Christian liberties are being eroded. And the church, the worst part of it is that they keep quiet. They do little or nothing. And all over us, everybody else is coming out from the closet and pushing the church into the closet, telling them, be quiet. The watchdogs have become lapdogs, and the church has humbly accepted that rule. They refuse to make use of the democratic process that their ancestors gave them. It costs blood for them to have what they have in this country. But the churches do not want to be a part of it. Or they participate like people who do not care whether they win or lose. They have an opportunity now to have their voices heard in the elections coming up. But many of them are still debating whether or not they should get engaged. Well, if they will not, other groups are. The leftists are, and the Muslims will use the democratic process. If you will not use the gifts you have been given, it will be taken away from you. So I am like Mordecai, who went to Esther and asked Esther, go speak to the king, intervene on behalf of your people. If you will not, Mordecai said to Esther, God will raise up help from another source, that maybe you will be the one that will perish. So all those churches that think that by not participating in the process, that their churches will be saved, you might be the first one to lose. What is happening is heartbreaking, my people. It is so heartbreaking. That is why I will do what they did in the old days. They ripped their garments in the old days. And they donned sackcloth and ashes. And that is precisely what I am going to do. Because it is too much what I have seen. I have no other way to express my dismay about what is happening. I tell them, you can no longer go to Africa and send missionaries there if you do not fight to protect your own backyard. So I'm calling on the churches of America. It is time to wake up. Time to wake up. What we need is America that is spiritually strong, militarily strong, and morally upright, so they can continue to play the role God has called them to. The best thing you can do for Africa, or for the other nations who depend on you, Israel and all the other nations, is to remain strong. So you have to get engaged in your democratic process, or else do not send missionaries. This is the time for you to actually recall your missionaries. They need you here. Help is needed here. If you go to your capital, that is mission field. Going to speak to the leaders, to the kings, that is the role of priests and prophets. And if we all say we are priests and prophets, then you have to do what the priests and the prophets did in the Bible. In the Old Testament, Elijah confronted King Ahab Nathan confronted King David. We have all the prophets. We have weeping prophet Jeremiah, who confronted his people. And God asked them to do many strange things. So do not think it's strange what I am doing. God has always called prophets to do crazy things, to get attention, so his people will not perish. Even in the New Testament, John the Baptist confronted Herod, King Herod. He lost his head for that. Well, we have a price to pay when we do that. Remember what Esther said? She said, if I perish, I perish. You never know what's going to happen, but that should not stop us from doing what we are called to do. Well, John the Baptist lost his head. Now, we are also, people all around us are losing their heads for the same reason John the Baptist lost his head. It was about marriage. He went and told King Herod, you cannot take your brother's wife. The same thing we have to do now. Tell the people, a man shall not marry a man. A woman shall not marry a woman. That's a whole other story I have to go into. But let me tell you what is going on. It's enough for me to put on my ashes. There are many churches. Oh my goodness. Many churches, my people, are actually upholding the view, supporting the people who say it's okay for a man to marry another man. It's okay for a woman to kill the child in her womb. Over 40 million killed in this country alone since 1973, when they made it legal. Yet they worry about one woman in Iran going to be stoned. They don't worry about the millions of women they are killing in their backyard. So I have come to call them to fulfill the role God assigned to them. That is to be a leader. I wish I could name the churches. There are very many good churches here in Hawaii. I go to many of them. And I am blessed when I go to each of them. Last time, we went to a church down the road. The preacher was fabulous. He talked about us getting drunk, to be like drunkards. Drunkards don't care what people think about them. They don't care whether they wear sackcloth or put on ashes. And I was hoping after that everybody else is going to do something crazy for the Lord. Everybody got all on fire and shouting and got drunk. But that's as far as it goes. I haven't seen it outside. They are not participating in the democratic process. And they are not far from the Capitol. And there's a fire house close by. I don't think they have to worry about the fire getting out of that building. It's contained right there in that building. A lot of fire. Catch the fire. Ignite the flame. But it will not spread to the next house. It's all contained. Oof. Then I went to another church. Wonderful service too. It was being a kingdom idiot. The sermon was fiery, everybody was on fire, but that's as far as it went. I don't see anybody being a kingdom idiot for the Lord. If they are, they're hiding somewhere. We haven't felt the impact yet. Where everybody is so cool, so respectable, wearing nice clothes, and oof, don't ruffle any feathers. That's what many of the people, churchgoers now, worry about. What will they say about us? What will the media say about us? How will they portray us? Well, got news for you. Luke 6:26 says, "Woe to you when all men speak well of you. So did their fathers speak of the false prophets." So do not be overly concerned about what the media is saying about you. They are not supposed to say nice things about you. Jesus warned you. What part of it is a surprise to you that they speak ill of you? What part of it is a surprise that there will be divisions? Oh,